everybody, Danny Mott here. Thanks for joining us. This week, we've got 3 power moves that you can use to increase more distance with your iron play and your driver. And as you can see, we've got the very own Peter Finch has come down to Canterbury to come and give us a helping hand.
Well, thank you very much for having me. You don't need my helping hand. And by the way, I want that intro. I want that power and that enthusiasm at the start of my videos. This is a whole new world for me now.
So Peter's coming to give us a helping hand, 2 power moves. He's doing some fantastic stuff on his channel, and we're going to put all the links in the description down below. But Peter, tell me, there's a lot of people out there in the world of golf, amateur golfers, looking for a few extra yards. Give us a couple of your best.
Okay, I think the first thing I've got to say is that certainly with the advent of strokes gained and exactly what that means for most golfers, it's shown that whilst putting is important, actually distance and a little bit of accuracy off the tee is, for a lot of golfers, even maybe more important than actually putting really well. I mean, the stats show it. Obviously, you still got to be a good putter, but it's the case that if you're hitting it down there 10, 20, 30 yards further, and even if it's not on the fairway, even if it's just in the semi or the light rough, that statistically will give you actually an advantage over the field generally. So these are going to be power movements to generate more speed, but please bear in mind that if you are very, very inaccurate, obviously there's a cut-off point where you can be smashing it 300 yards, but if it is in the trees, that isn't going to be doing you any favours at all. So I think the first one for me, certainly something that I see, is that a lot of people are far too restricted with their movement. So a lot of the most powerful hitters in the game, and not only in golf but in other sports, their movements are free, they are flowing. And something which I see so many people do is get quite restricted on the way back, because they try and turn, they know they've got to build up power, they know they've got to rotate. But if you rotate and you can't fully get those shoulders turned, that's going to rob you of potential speed.
Absolutely.
So it's not about kind of restriction between the lower and the upper body. This is all about building up power. Now, one way to build up power and to generate that extra little bit of turn is to allow that left heel, allow that left knee to actually move up, because what that'll do, it'll free the right hip up, and as that right hip begins to rotate that little bit more, that allows you to then turn and get that extra little bit of rotation.
Could that be good for anybody of any age?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think we now know that if you can keep the lower half a little bit more stable, so there's a little bit less movement with the feet going back, that could be an advantage. However, you've got to look at the fact that Nicholas, Snead, you're looking at the players, the great players of the past.
I mean, Bubba Watson, Justin Thomas.
These are players who, Francesco Molinari, he's adding more speed by doing that little lift as well.
Padraig Harrington,
completely. The list goes on. This is not something which has gone by the wayside. This is something which is still very relevant to a lot of people. So to actually get that extra little bit of turn by lifting that heel up, by letting that right hip rotate, that then allows that body to turn a little bit more, and it adds potential speed. Again, this is potential speed. You still got to deliver the club in a way that's not going to send it off the planet, but if you can get control, it's great.
Absolutely. And one of the things I've noticed with some of the guys on who I've been coaching from all different ages, that some of them say, well, I can't make that turn. They sometimes struggle to make the proper turn, and they often say, well, should I move this up every time? And as you just mentioned, it's advisable for some people, but maybe not for others, because as your stats are proving that if you can keep the stability, you'll generate more consistency in terms of your strike. And so those of you, in a sense, who benefit from this particular action is fantastic for all ages. But there's another way you can do it as well. So based on what Peter's saying, we want to get a much better turn in the backswing. A great exercise here is to test your flexibility out, is to kind of get yourself set, turn your head as if you're looking at someone behind you here. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm not kind of turning like this, I'm staying fairly central, but what it enables me to do is I turn back here and then move my hand up into position. I'll be able to see how flexible I am. Now you can see here I can't quite reach my right hand, so I'm going to have to bring that right, or the trail arm, back to me. Now, a lot of you will find that when you're trying to work on this backswing, you're going to be trying to have this big turn, And one of the downsides to try and make a big turn is you start to cheat a little bit. Either you're swaying to try and complete the backswing here, or you start to bend your left elbow. So one of the things you can do is to kind of figure out what's your flexibility like, how much turn can you actually get. And this exercise, I've certainly found, Peter, is that it's a great way to establish where you are. And if somebody, in a sense, can only get to here, then that needs to be basically your full backswing. If you find that you're only down to here, great, you can start to maybe even use that lead heel now, get it up to go a little bit further. But whatever you do, you don't want to make those compensations by raising the left arm, bending the left arm, or starting to sway to complete.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that kind of feeling that you just described there about not swaying as well, because that is certainly something that I see so many people struggle with as they try and go back to get turn, that right hip getting quite high, that spine tilting a little bit more towards the target. Because when you do that type of movement, if you then try and transfer your weight and then you then try and get into that left side, all of a sudden your spine angle's in a position where you come through and it's got to reverse itself. And that's going to lead to a lot of inconsistency with many golfers. So another drill that I do like to get people doing is when they get themselves set up, just pop that club. This especially works for the driver. I love this for the driver, and of course that's the one everyone wants to hit further. No one's really that bothered about smashing a 980 yards, but if you go whack your driver 300 yards, absolutely lovely. So getting set up with a club basically on the spine angle, getting a little bit of tilt away so the club just brushes onto the inside of the lead leg, and then getting the feeling that on the way back that angle is then maintained. So that spine angle is tilted away from the target at the top of the swing, ball position forward here for the driver. And then actually coming through the ball, getting a little bit of weight transfer onto the left side, but actually trying to maintain that same spine angle. Now what that's going to allow you to do is actually rotate around that spine angle going back, rotate the body around that spine angle coming through, and be in a position where you can actually deliver an upward angle of attack onto that driver, which is going to help, with that spin loft, it's going to help you deliver the club and actually send that ball with a higher launch and lower spin.
Perfect. So in summary, guys, we've kind of given you like three things there that you kind of need to focus on, and I thought it'd be quite nice for Peter maybe to demonstrate in summary here those couple of tips that you did, because I think they'll be very useful. So
okay,
show us it in action.
Okay, fantastic. So which one do you want? This is great as well because the camera's face on. I don't know. They don't know where the shots have gone, so whatever happens here, my reaction is going to just be, well, that was a fantastic shot, wasn't it? So first one, getting that left heel lifted up, and I think the first thing to say with this is kind of take your time with it, don't go crazy with it, because if you do lift it up and then you try and just generate maximum speed straight away,
what kind of speed would you recommend?
I'd 60-70% to begin with, like literally nothing too crazy, just while you're actually getting used to the movement. So a couple of practice swings, just lifting it up, just letting it go, letting that hip turn, letting those shoulders rotate down as well. So just a nice soft swing to begin with, still in my driver stance. So lifting that heel up, allowing that body to turn back and through, and actually, no joke, that's actually a really good shot. I do surprise myself every now and again. Yeah, you know what? I think every time. Do you notice this, by the way, when you're doing videos and when you're talking, that when you talk through a shot, like
it's always
good.
Maybe that's what we should be doing on a golf course.
Listen, it's all about pre-shot routine, right? So you just need, excuse me, you need to be talking yourself through it. So the second one, as far as that spine angle goes, it's going to be difficult to do with an iron, so I might just do a bit of a fresh air on this one, is getting used to that movement of going there and then keeping that spine angle as you move through. So one of those little drill swings, and then just imagining that spine angle tilted away again, up to the top, keep that tilt, move through, keep that tilt, and then be accelerating through and actually allow yourself to move upwards and just try and push that ball forward.
Fantastic. Peter, absolutely brilliant. I think you'll all agree, it's great to have Peter here on the channel. Like I say, if you haven't seen much of Peter's work, he's done some fantastic stuff over there. I'm going to put all the links in the description below. But of course, guys, if you've got any questions over the coming days, leave them in the comments box below, and as you know, I'll answer them every single day. So until next week, have a great golfing week.